Aloha, inspired moneymaker. Thanks for tuning in. If this is your first time here, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. Let's all be inspired moneymakers together. Have you ever noticed how your relationship with money seems to run quietly in the background until suddenly it doesn't? Maybe it's a surprise bill, a missed opportunity, or a moment when you realize that you've been holding yourself back, not because of lack of money, but because of a lack of belief. In today's episode, we're talking about something most of us never learned in school, but we live with it every day. It's your money mindset. We've all heard about the power of a growth mindset, how believing you can learn and improve can change everything. But what about your mindset around money? When was the last time you paused, really paused, to think about the way that you think about money? Most of us are too busy navigating life, hustling through the storm, to ask, why do I feel so stressed when I check my bank account? Or why do I feel guilty about wanting more? Why does wealth feel out of reach even when I work so hard? The truth is, your mindset around money is shaping your financial life more than any spreadsheet ever could. Fear and purpose are always in tension. And for many of us, fear takes the lead. But what happens when you choose purpose instead? You should shift from scarcity to abundance. That's what we're going to explore today. How to identify and rewire limiting beliefs, embrace gratitude and visualization, and align your money with your values. We've brought together an extraordinary panel of experts, from best-selling authors to financial educators and mindset pioneers, who will help you master the inner game of wealth so that you can build the outer results you truly deserve. Stick around. This episode just might change the way you think about money for good. Before we dive in, I want to thank today's sponsor. This episode is brought to you by Seeking Alpha Premium, your edge in every market. If you're ready to invest smarter, not harder, Seeking Alpha Premium gives you access to powerful tools like data-driven stock ratings, deep research, and a vibrant investor community. Whether you're into dividend stocks, growth plays, ETFs, or just want better insights to manage your portfolio, Seeking Alpha can be a valuable resource. As an inspired moneymaker, you can get $30 off your first year, plus a 7-day free trial. That's full access to professional-grade tools for just $269. Why consider it? Because better investing starts with better information. Seeking Alpha Premium offers research and insights that go deeper than the headlines, helping you to buy and sell smarter. This is an affiliate link, and I may earn a commission if you subscribe at no extra cost to you. As a registered investment advisor, I strive to only recommend tools that I believe can help you make more informed decisions. Visit inspiredmoney.fm/trial30. That's TRIAL30 to start your free trial today. Now let's get started by introducing our incredible guests, each bringing powerful insights into how our mindsets shape financial success. First, we have Vicki Robin. Vicki is a true trailblazer in the world of personal finance. She's the co-author of the groundbreaking book, Your Money or Your Life, a classic that has helped millions of people transform their relationship with money and live more intentionally. The book was updated, I think, in 2018 to reflect a deeper connection between money, purpose, and sustainability. Vicki is also the host of the podcast, What Could Possibly Go Right? And her work around localism, community resilience, and values-based living continues to inspire. We're thrilled to have her back with us. Vicki, so good to have you.
Thank you. Good to be here. Yeah.
Let's see. Laurel is not here yet. Let me welcome in Dr. Anna Yusim. Dr. Yusim is a board-certified psychiatrist, executive coach, best-selling author who helps high performers align their inner world with their outer success. She's worked with everyone from Olympic athletes to Fortune 500 CEOs. She's also a clinical assistant professor at Yale Medical School, where she founded the New Center for Spirituality and Mental Health. Her unique approach blends rigorous science with soulful exploration, exactly what we need when talking about the inner game of money. So welcome, Anna.
Thank you so much, Andy. It's a pleasure to be here with everybody.
And we have Laura Tynan. She is founder of The Witch of Wall Street, a former global finance executive turned financial empowerment coach. She helps conscious women heal their money mindset and grow generational wealth through spiritually aligned investing. She's been recognized by the Financial Times as a top 20 future female leader and by Yahoo Finance as a global champion for women in business. Laura's approach is grounded, intuitive, and transformational. Welcome, Laura.
Oh, thank you so much, Andy. Great to be here with so many awesome women and excited for this conversation.
And we're hoping that Laurel Langmeyer will be here too. I'll just do a quick intro. Laurel is a powerhouse wealth coach, a 6-time New York Times bestselling author, and the founder and CEO of several multi-million-dollar companies, including Integrated Wealth Systems, with over 2 decades of experience in finance, business development, and investing. She's helped create hundreds of millionaires. You may have seen her on CNN, Fox Business, The View, or in Forbes and the Wall Street Journal. She brings bold, no-nonsense strategies that change how people think about and create wealth. So we hope that she'll join us. If not, we will go with the flow. That is the reality of doing a live show. But I'm really excited to have this lineup. You know, we're going to go deep into how our beliefs, emotions, and habits around money can either limit us or unlock the life that we truly want. So let's begin with segment 1.
Early experiences with money shape financial beliefs, often without conscious awareness. Observing parents stress over bills or seeing wealth as unattainable can lead to a scarcity mindset, where money feels perpetually out of reach. Cultural norms reinforce financial habits, dictating whether saving or spending is valued. A scarcity mindset fosters fear-based decisions, while an abundance mindset embraces financial growth. Common limiting beliefs, such as money is evil or I don't deserve wealth, can hold people back from financial success. Reprogramming these thoughts requires techniques like neuro-linguistic programming, cognitive reframing, and subconscious reprogramming through journaling. By identifying and replacing negative beliefs with empowering ones, financial behaviors can shift. Developing a healthy money mindset is essential for long-term financial success and breaking free from past conditioning.
Vicki, let me begin with you. Your book, Your Money, Your Life, helped millions rethink their relationship with money. How does intentional living help rewire our limiting beliefs?
I think that the key in Your Money, Your Life, there's 2 keys in Your Money, Your Life, or maybe 3, I don't know. But one is the recognition that despite what the society says, despite all of the messages through, all of the channels, money is actually something that you trade your life energy for. You trade the hours of your life for money. And when you think about your life, rather than thinking about investing your life in money, you think about, how does money serve me in my life? And all the things I want to do and be in my life. We're not just workers, we're partners and parents and aunts and uncles. And we have so many interests that are outside of the realm of money. But somehow or another, we have to, at some point in life, we have to tuck ourselves into the dominant paradigm. And so when you start thinking about, are these purchases worth the hours of my life? Is it going to make me truly happy? Is it going to take me in the direction I want to go? Many people don't have a purpose in life beyond their jobs, but even just asking the question, is this purchase, is this activity around money take me where I want to be in life? Me, a human, a soul, can induce a question around, am I here for more than money?
Laura, I want to hear maybe your personal thoughts, because I know that your approach blends finance and spirituality, but you were in corporate finance, you have that background, and you kind of traded that in. So what are your thoughts on what Vicki said?
So, I mean, personal development, manifestation, the mindset work has always been a massive part of my life ever since I was 19 and picked up my first ever Abraham Books book. And that really shaped my whole journey within corporate finance. I have to say, I worked there for a decade and I actually loved my experience. Had manifested some incredible opportunities. I was sitting on the board of companies. I was traveling around the world. I was very much living out the dream that I had written down when I was 19, when I stepped foot inside university to study finance. So I was probably one of the few who actually really loved the corporate journey. What made me leave was I was turning 30. I was heading into a new chapter. And in the years running up to that, I had had these very profound experiences of hearing about the gender inequality statistics, experiencing it, being the only woman in the boardroom, whether I was in Dubai, in Abu Dhabi, anywhere around the world. And so I started to teach other women within the financial industry about personal development, about self-empowerment, about how to move up the corporate ladder if that's what they desired. And so I had reached a point that I thought, this is what I love. I feel like this is my mission. And if money really is just a reflection of our value, of our service that we provide, this was definitely the service I wanted to be providing in the world and be compensated for it. And so at 30, I decided to the shock of my family, my parents, my colleagues, and to leave this very high-paying corporate job and start something brand new myself, which ultimately evolved into the Witch of Wall Street. And in my journey, everything that I have seen, even though it started out about female empowerment, it had to focus on financial empowerment. Because if we're just talking about female empowerment, in my experience, we're kind of just in this echo chamber where everyone's going to agree, like, yes, women should be empowered, there shouldn't be inequality, that's amazing. But what are we actually doing about it? And I thought the more money I can put in the hands of women, the better the world is going to be. And let's empower women to understand not just how to manage it, how to make it work for them through investing, but actually shift their entire relationship with it. So they don't think that they just have to trade their hours for money through a job, although some people love that and that's what they want to do with their life, but also to open up their mind to that there's different ways to build wealth, to become financially free. Following your passion like I did was the example that I can set as well. So for me, everything we do in the Witch of Wall Street is blending both. I think one without the other, it's a disservice to my community and to my clients.
Love this movement. Anna, can you give us some context? Because from your integrative psychiatry lens, how do early psychological conditioning and trauma manifest as limiting beliefs around money?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a wonderful question because so much of who we become is really shaped by parental belief, by the individuals who enable us to become who we are, and we have to reprogram in so many ways. And, I think it's, as you pointed out, individuals who have had a lot of trauma often see the world as a dangerous place, and a place where rather than there being abundance and love, there being danger and scarcity. And slowly over time, we have to reprogram those deeply held unconscious beliefs to be in line with the person we want to become, as opposed to the person or the community or the environment in which we were raised.
Vicki, have you found that you've had limiting beliefs around money that you had to overcome?
Yeah, I was raised in an upper middle class family, but both my parents lived through the Depression, and so the money messages were quite confused. And there was a scarcity mindset in an abundance lifestyle. So that was part of it. But at the same time, I was very grateful to learn the skills of frugality. I mean, frugality has served me extraordinarily well. And when I was a junior in college, I went to Spain. I studied in Spain, and I figured out that the less money I spent, the further it went. So I had a year and a half instead of 9 months, and it wasn't deprivation. It was empowerment. I've said often, I buy my freedom every day through my frugality. But at the same time, as the representative of your money or your life for decades, I developed a a sort of a prison for myself, because I had to adhere very closely to the values that the book was representing, because I knew that in a transformational book, people would be examining my behavior in light of what I was teaching. And so I had to, after my partner Joe Dominguez died, and after many other experiences, including having cancer and changed so much of my life, I really had to overcome it and be able to spend the money I needed to spend in order to live a life I loved.
Anna, did you have a thought?
Yeah, I mean, I think that all of us essentially come into this world with certain things that eventually, as we think about the person we want to become, work for us, and other things that don't. And just as Vicki was explaining, my family came in, to this country as immigrants. And the mentality we had was you have to work really, really hard for money. So that was the mentality that I grew up with, that the way to make ends meet and the way to accomplish anything in life was to work super hard. And that was very effective and worked for me. But, there's actually other ways of also manifesting. We talk about the word manifesting. What is manifesting? There is the masculine way of manifesting, and masculine, I say in quotes, if you were to create a divide, which is to work really hard and be deliberate and intentional. But there's also the more feminine way of manifesting, which is to elevate your own vibrational frequency to a level to make yourself equal in frequency to what it is that you want to accomplish. And that's more magnetic. It's not a passive process, but it's an active process in a totally different way. And that way, you're able to draw in what you need as opposed to working really hard for it. So that's really been my lesson around money.
Wow.
I like hearing that masculine and feminine approach. And a good segue, let's go into segment 2, where we're going to talk about visualization and affirmations.
The brain processes imagined experiences similarly to real ones, engaging neural pathways that shape thoughts and behaviors. Visualization activates brain regions linked to motivation and decision-making, reinforcing financial confidence. Studies suggest that mental rehearsal enhances performance and goal attainment. To visualize financial success, set clear goals, create vivid mental images, and incorporate positive emotions. The Future Self technique aligns present actions with a prosperous future. Affirmations work by reprogramming subconscious beliefs. Effective ones are present tense, positive, and emotionally resonant. A financial vision board can reinforce abundance by displaying goals, affirmations, and motivational imagery. Daily visualization and affirmations create a prosperity mindset, shifting financial habits and opportunities. Repeated exposure to these mental exercises rewires neural pathways, promoting confidence and strategic action toward wealth.
Laura, you teach your clients to visualize financial success. How do you teach visualization in a way that actually creates results?
Yes, so that's very much the witchy part of what I do is the inner work. Look, I love visualization. I have many meditations and different recordings on my own channel, and that's what I share with my students and clients, as you said, to support them to shift into this new reality, living their richest life, however they desire it. Visualization can be really powerful if it helps us to connect to the feeling of the reality that we want to create. And I always bring it back to the feeling of, especially nowadays where everything is very mainstream, I think like vision boards and all these kind of techniques. The challenge sometimes is that these techniques can actually be used in a way that people feel like it's just another thing to do, like it becomes like on their to-do list, or by looking at their vision boards, they actually feel worse because it's just a constant reminder of where they're not. So more so than the practice, because visualization can be really powerful, vision boards can be, affirmations can be, I'd always come back to tune into the feeling. How is it making you feel? If looking at your vision board every day is actually making you feel rubbish, because you're saying, oh, that's just everything I haven't got yet. Or if saying, I'm so grateful that I'm now a millionaire, and every time you say it, your brain is going, that little voice in your head is calling BS on it, then maybe stop that and try a different technique that is going to ease you into that emotional feeling that you want a little bit easier. So it can be so powerful, it certainly is, it's science-backed and everything like that. But I would always just say, tune into the feeling first. And maybe if the visualization isn't getting you there, the vision board, the affirmations, whatever it is, let's take it from a different angle. Let's try a different approach to actually help you get the outcome that you want.
And then in your experience, do you see a big difference in the thinking or the approach that men have versus women?
Yeah, I mean, I work predominantly, exclusively probably to say with women in my business, like in my mastermind or my community or my coaching programs. It is women that I work with. That's my mission. That's what the Witch of Wall Street is rooted in, its purpose in. But obviously from being in different containers, communities, coaching programs more broadly, we can all approach things differently, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's male or female. Because I have some friends from my corporate days who are very in their, let's say, quote unquote, male energy. And maybe for them sitting down to do breath work or tapping or visualization just does not register with them. And they want to have a more forceful approach to things. They're more like get up and go, maybe more of like the Tony Robbins energy. But then I have other friends who are like so into the beautiful woo and they just want to submerge into the visualization practices, and they can get there and they can go into their higher frequencies or their higher chakras a lot easier. So there can be differences, but it isn't always just male or female. It's more what is the predominant energy that we're attuned to as well.
Anna, you bring neuroscience and spirituality together. What does current brain research say about how visualization can help to rewire our neural pathways for financial success?
Yeah, I don't know what it says specifically for financial success, but visualization is a very powerful tool for helping people achieve goals in general. And what visualization does is, as the Witch of Wall Street was saying, it really helps people bring themselves closer to the manifestation that they desire and to start to reprogram deep inside what may be holding them back. And, I love the Witch of Wall Street concept because it shows that a lot of this is really magical. It is us creating our reality with our thoughts, with our intentionality, with our visualization, with our feelings, with our, everything that we create in our inner world, because our inner world ultimately equals our outer world. And there is tons of neuroscience support for precisely that as well.
Do you have any examples of somebody that you've worked with that changed their financial life through either daily mental rehearsal or affirmations?
Yeah. Lots of individuals that I have worked with, I work with people essentially on the concept of manifestation, which is creating that which you most deeply desire. And that is a multi-tiered system as far as how you do that. And that entails taking deliberate, concerted action. So being very, in the masculine manifestation mindset, doing exactly what you need to do, coming up with to-do lists, checklists, getting people to coach you and mentor you, etc. So being very deliberate in your actions, that's number one. And number two is working on the inside and beginning to understand your resistances and blockages to what it is that you truly want to manifest. You may say that you want this, but if that's not coming into your life, there is something that you are doing to block that. And what is that? These are often the unconscious or subconscious blockages that keep us from being the best versions of ourselves. And those are rooted in many different things, including conflicts that we have, including parental relationships, including deeply held core beliefs of which we're not even aware. And so through this work, we help to make the unconscious conscious and thereby give people much more control over their life.
Vicki, how does visualization fit into the values-based and ecological lens of prosperity that you write about?
Yeah, it's so interesting to listen to this because I'm a social change junkie. I wake up in the morning and I think about the context that I live in. In terms of your money, your life, one of the things that we taught was not only the transactional relationship with money or the emotional relationship with money, the beliefs, etc., but we taught that we are soaked in a society that teaches us that more is better and growth is good. And in a way, I remember when I was working on Your Money, Your Life, they said, 75% of the economy in the United States is a consumerism. And I was trying to teach people to moderate their consumption. So it was really it was and still is radical. So, I visualize, if you will, the world I want to live in. I visualize love. I visualize connection. For many years, my motto was enough for everyone and everyone has enough. And so all of my money, so it sort of makes my financial life way less important to me as long as I have enough. And it makes my world work more important. And right now I'm working with the idea of mutual aid. I work in relocalization. I do have a belief, that's being sort of validated, that the global supply chains, globalization itself has made us very vulnerable in meeting our needs for ourselves in the region that we live, which is how humans lived always. And so I'm trying to teach skills of need fulfillment that is relational. It's not, masculine, as we're talking about. It's not like I can do everything myself, although I have that attitude. I have to get over it. But it is about the fact of the matter that one of the greatest joys for a human being is in giving and receiving. And receiving is extraordinarily hard and from other people, and needing is very hard. And so to build systems of mutual aid, both inside yourself, is it okay for me to receive? Is it okay for me to give? When is it okay for me to give? And I don't mean a wedding present. I mean something from your own self. And so that's this culture, it's like one of my other mottos. I have mottos all my entire life. When I was working on local food, was the realization that this is a relational world. It is not a world of objects. It's not a billiard ball world where we're all banging into each other for advantage. It's a relational world. If you tune into the natural world, we're the only species that does not know how to live in the natural world. And I'm not saying, put on loincloth and go learn how to kill rabbits. I'm talking about this sort of blessed relationship with the food that you eat, with the materials that you use for your life, some awareness of where they come from. So that is that's my great joy, is to work at that level.
Anybody else want to chime in?
Well, I love what Vicki was saying regarding the giving and receiving. And I think that whenever you are striving to cultivate an abundance mindset, those two aspects have to be balanced. And I've talked about the masculine and feminine. Usually receiving is more the feminine, giving is more the masculine. But just like Vicki was saying, most of us, especially if we're, high power women who are used to success, we're so good at giving. We may not be so good at receiving. And actually, abundance often comes through the act of receiving and being able to cultivate that capacity and flex that muscle is a wonderful skill set, especially for powerful women, to be able to cultivate, not just to bring in abundance, but to bring in anything that they want, including relationships, including health, etc.
Laura, any tactical advice on that front?
I mean, I'm just smiling as I'm hearing this. I'm like, yes, this art of receiving is something I know I personally had to go through. I have so many women I work with where this is something that comes up. And you absolutely nailed it when you said we as high-powered women are very good at giving, the culture of like over-giving almost to a fault. Learning to receive, to be comfortable to receive. It can start as small as receiving a compliment. When someone says, oh, that's beautiful, good job. Do you shut it down? Do you say, oh, no, it was no big deal. Oh, I just got this at the local store. It was only a $5. Like, do we dismiss it? Do we throw it back? Or do we actually allow ourselves to receive? And sometimes we might be looking at receiving the big things, but it can start in the small daily practices, like actually receive the compliment, like allow the other person to give that to you, allow yourself to receive it. It can be walking into your coffee store, ordering a coffee, and when you're receiving it, like, I receive this. It's getting into that mental mindset of actually seeing parts of your life, where your daily habits, where you're receiving things, compliments, little acts, little things throughout your day, so you can actually put yourself in the energy of receiving bigger things, the so-called bigger things that we want to create or manifest in our life. So big smile on my face when I was hearing this conversation coming up. I'm like, yes, this is definitely something I see women especially. It's an important topic to look at.
I like it. So start small. It's okay to start small. Just accept the compliment, and then that can be your gateway to receiving more abundance. And it's interesting because it's not just masculine versus feminine. I think there are also cultural things too, because growing up Chinese American, I think that Asians culturally also have a hard time accepting compliments. We always deflect and say, "Oh, no, I'm not good at that. You're good at that." And like turn it around. But we have to learn how to just say thank you. So let's move on to the next segment.
Low self-esteem can create invisible barriers to financial success. Undercharging for work, avoiding raises, and self-sabotage often stem from deep-seated beliefs about worthiness. When self-worth is tied to financial success, setbacks feel personal, leading to stress and disengagement. Gratitude shifts focus from scarcity to abundance by rewiring the brain, boosting dopamine and serotonin. This improves mood, resilience, and financial confidence. Overcoming imposter syndrome requires self-compassion, reframing financial mistakes, and learning that most people's finances are not as perfect as they appear. Daily mindset rituals reinforce abundance. Visualization, affirmations, and intentional dressing strengthen a wealth identity. Mantras train the subconscious to focus on growth. A self-worth and gratitude journal can help reframe financial narratives, fostering a mindset that attracts success and financial well-being.
Anna, how does gratitude, or how can gratitude change a person's stress response to money?
Yeah. Gratitude is one of the most powerful, energetic signatures that we can cultivate. Gratitude is basically being able to see all the good in your life and starting to emit essentially the abundance mindset that you are seeking to create. And the more that you create that and emit that, the more that you magnetize that in as well. And there has been so many scientific studies on gratitude showing that it reduces the stress response. It helps individuals have higher quality of life with numerous diseases, including cancer and heart disease. And in general, grateful people are happy people. The opposite of gratitude is often entitlement, because entitlement is the mentality where you don't have gratitude. You expect something, and if you don't get it, you're upset and resentful. And if you do get it, because you expected it, you're not grateful. And so I would say that gratitude is the most powerful mentality that we can cultivate. And you should start to create a practice around the cultivation, because it's not always second nature. In a capitalist society, we often focus on what we lack rather than what's in abundance and what we're grateful for. And so it's a very important practice to cultivate.
Vicki, what's your response to this idea of entitlement versus, you talk about having enough? Can we anchor gratitude in practical financial decisions like things, spending or investing?
Yeah, I used to say, I'm sorry, like I'm old, so I I keep talking about what I used to say. And my focus is now, actually I have a blog called Coming of Aging, and focuses on aging. But I used to say, if you cultivate gratitude, if you walk into the world with an attitude of gratitude, it's very difficult to spend money, because everything you see is so illuminated with the gift of even existing. So I think that that's an important part of it. And I also was in the last segment, I was thinking about my own drivenness. And it's not that I don't have drive. I've been driven to change the world, which of course is like, you never get there. But I think when I looked deeper into it, I realized that I was afraid to live in the world as it is. the hostile aspects, the aspects of this world that are not friendly, and that I developed a sense that I always have to be projecting myself and sort of like grabbing onto the next rung in order to actually exist as a part of society. So there's a question of, do I trust this world? And so I think it would be interesting for people to look at that lever around trust, and how can I develop trust in myself, in other people, and in just the basic order of existence, and for me, a lot of it is in nature, watching how nature is an integral system of giving and receiving, that every element of the natural world serves its niche. So you start to understand how to belong in this world as an element of the well-being of the collective.
Laura, how about your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I probably don't need to add to the point of gratitude is really important and powerful, and there's a lot of benefits to it. From a manifestation point of view, I suppose the sister to gratitude, if we look at ourselves as these magnets that are attracting things to us, and gratitude is what increases the magnetism of us to manifest what you want in your life. The sister to that then would be forgiveness, right? Because forgiveness I see as almost like cleaning the magnet so that we can truly manifest or create or attract to us what we truly want. And I think forgiveness is a really big one of self and of others. So we can go through our life feeling grateful. It's a practice I use every single day, whether in the morning or the evening. It's so beautiful. When we look at it as investing compounds your money, gratitude compounds your joy in life, the quality of your life in so many ways. And pairing it with a practice of forgiveness, of self, of others, helps to really just even magnify everything a little bit more.
I love it. Let's move on to segment 4.
Wealth can be a tool for positive impact, funding charitable causes, promoting social justice, and supporting sustainable businesses. Aligning finances with values starts with intentional investing, choosing ethical companies, sustainable funds, and businesses that contribute to social good. Guilt about financial success can hinder generosity. Shifting to an abundance mindset fosters giving without fear of loss. Purpose-driven financial goals, like funding passion projects, supporting nonprofits, or launching social enterprises, create lasting fulfillment. Values-based financial planning integrates ethical principles into wealth building. Identifying core values, setting aligned financial goals, and practicing intentional giving ensure financial success benefits both personal aspirations and society. Tools like ethical investment funds and values-based advisors can help individuals align money with purpose while growing sustainable wealth.
Vicki, what does ethical wealth mean in your life and work?
Well, since my focus is on nature, on systems, on ecology, and on relocalization, I have invested primarily in local businesses. I am investing. It's sort of like I ask myself the question, what do I want more of in the world? And, so that's my ethical frame. And in my community, I've invested in a lot of local businesses. And, the return may, I don't think about the return totally in money. I think about the return in collective wealth, in a sense in my community that we are capable. We can serve ourselves. There is something about the sense that our community is abundant that gives individuals more empowerment to be part of the community. So I think that would be a sufficient contribution.
It makes one think about what is the impact of having a community sense of abundance versus just an individual.
Can I elaborate on that a little bit more? Because I talk about community currency, is that part of our needs are fulfilled through money and the things that we buy. and the things that we have and our pleasure in what we have and what we can purchase, all of that, and our pleasure in the security of having enough. That really is important when you get older. But a lot of our wealth is in the vitality of your community, is in the participation in your community, is in the friendships that you meet, when the people that you meet when you serve on a board, or you volunteer, or you do a work day at the local community garden. All of these things are wealth building. And in a way, the more that you weave yourself in to the vitality of your community, the more you're woven you are, the more sense of security you have in terms of being able to meet your needs. And, the small examples are tool libraries and things like that, and food banks and all. We have so many nonprofits. I think we have a nonprofit a person on this island. But it's not just in that. It's in the general vibrational generosity that small communities can generate, because we know we depend on one another for our well-being.
Love the thought of wealth beyond dollars and cents. Laura, your clients often seek to build conscious wealth. What internal dialogues must shift to embody conscious prosperity?
Yeah, so again, everything with the Witch of Wall Street is two-pronged. So the inner work, as you talk about, but also the strategic side. So the very obvious side of it is when, the women I work with go to invest, they want to choose ethical investments. They want to choose investments that align with their values and actually let their money talk for them. So we can do that through our purchases, how we actually spend our money, use our money, but we can also do that through our investments. So investing in companies and funds that have collections of companies that we are aligned with. So that's definitely one thing that comes up very strongly. In terms of the inner work in developing wealth consciousness, I have a community for women. It's for wealth conscious women. And a big piece that comes up as a theme is a feeling of worthiness of living this wealthy life, because so many of us, myself included, have been brought up with some very, unfavorable beliefs around money, what it means to be rich, which almost seems like a derogatory term in some settings to say, oh, I want to be rich. But, to reclaim that word, I want to be wealthy. Like that was a taboo statement growing up in Ireland. To even talk about money was taboo. So to develop this feeling of worthiness, to even say that as a desire, as an affirmation, to say, yeah, I want to live a really rich life. And money is a big aspect of that in the world that we live in. It facilitates, me becoming more, doing more, giving more, creating more of an impact in the world, taking care of myself, my family, my loved ones. So the worthiness piece is definitely where we begin with on the inner journey.
Anna, what do you say to people who feel guilty about deserving wealth?
It's a great question. And, you had brought up the point, Andy, at the beginning, and there was a little video that we saw about giving to others. And oftentimes it's individuals who spend a lot on themselves that can feel shame and guilt around that, whereas charitable giving actually creates the opposite feelings. And if people have a lot of guilt about that, it's good to understand what that guilt is about, what was taking for oneself like in your family. And, self-care is a very key component of mastering the art of receiving. You have to be able to take care of yourself to be able to receive from life, to be able to receive from others. And yet it's been shown time and again in numerous studies that charitable individuals, whether it's giving of your time, of your money, etc., are happier individuals. And this is the case in more developed nations and also in nations that are a little bit less developed across the world. And so to be happier, to have less guilt, it's really good to be able to give to others.
In your experience, have you seen people, do they have difficulty navigating? Is there an emotional tension between spiritual values and financial ambition?
It's a great question, So it's the question of what do people actually get from money? right? People get independence, they get wealth, they get status, they get security, many, many other things. And for a lot of people, some of those things, having a lot, is actually, we talked about money being evil, etc. And a lot of healers actually have that. They believe that somehow in order to heal, they have to either not accept money, or that money is the antithesis, that they work, money is the darkness, whereas they're bringing the light. But the truth is, through conscious investing, through what Vicki was also speaking about, it's very easy to align those values, but you have to do it very deliberately. And you also have to confront your own shadows about what it means to not live in accordance with your spiritual values. Are you investing and spending in a way that actually a part of you does not feel good about, that you have guilt about, that you're investing in companies that are doing bad things in your estimation?
Anybody else want to comment?
Yeah, I'd love to add to this because, again, hit the nail on the head. I work with a lot of very spiritually minded women, as you may have guessed, with a business called The Witch of Wall Street. And it comes up time and time again, especially the women I work with who are more in those working in those healing modalities, as if they don't feel it's okay to charge for their services. And again, the goal doesn't have to be money, but money is a reflection of the service and the value that we provide. And it's to redefine what money is, away from something being negative or corrupt or just the greedy want, or money being the root of all evil, all these things that we hear growing up. I certainly did. But actually seeing it as something that we can be in relationship with, we can have a very positive, empowering relationship with, one that is supportive of us. Not that we are to love money, but we can use money, not let money use us, and use it to live the life that we believe we were destined for, that we are here for, to align with our own values, whether that is, growing a family, doing impact work, growing a business, whatever it is. But money, it's to remove that stigma that there is any negative connotation of it. It is the love of money, or allowing money to use us, or putting it above all else, or making that the ultimate. That is where things go wrong. But when we see it as an employee who can work for us, for example, in the financial markets, where we see it as a tool that we can use to live our life, to take care of ourselves, right? Primary, what you were just sharing, Anna, like taking care of ourselves, taking care of those that we love, and shift the narrative, shift how we define money and our relationship with it. Then I see women start to feel more comfortable charging more, and realizing it's not that you're charging and taking from another person. Money is currency. It's just in flow. It's just transacting. Someone's paying you and you're paying another person. You're buying things. It's this constant flow that we're in. We're in this ocean of money and energy, and money is just part of that ocean of flow as well.
Thank you for that. Let's bring it home and go to.
Can I drop one thing in?
Yes, you may.
There is a website that is called As You Sow, like as you reap as you sow, which I use, and it breaks down what companies are investing in, what mutual funds companies are so what they're supporting. And so you can actually check, according to your values, the investments that you're making. And so I choose, when I invest in, stocks and mutual funds, I choose the ones that I feel are doing the least harm. And I don't know if they're doing the most good, but at least the least harm. So it's a tool that you can use. It's called As You Sow.
That's a great tip, and a good opportunity for me to plug a previous Inspired Money episode. We had Andrew Behar as a panelist. That was an episode entitled Sustainable Investing, Making an Impact with Your Portfolio. And yes, Andrew talked about As You Sow, how it works, how they do the research on different mutual funds and different investment managers. And you can really filter, what are your values? What are the things that are important to you? And then help find what investments fit your values. And a very helpful and practical resource. Now we will bring it home and go to segment 5.
Wealth isn't built overnight. It's a result of consistent habits. Successful individuals incorporate daily rituals like gratitude exercises, visualization, and financial goal setting. These practices reinforce abundance thinking and discipline. Financial journaling is a powerful tool for identifying limiting beliefs, tracking progress, and reinforcing positive money habits. Prompts like, "What financial wins did I achieve today?" help maintain focus and confidence. Continuous learning plays a key role in financial success. Books, courses, and mentors provide knowledge to make informed decisions and build long-term wealth. Accountability partners and wealth-focused communities help maintain motivation. A 90-day wealth mindset challenge can jumpstart transformation by combining mindset shifts, financial action steps, and daily affirmations. Tracking progress, celebrating small wins, and staying committed to learning will create lasting financial confidence and success.
Laura, what's the most important habit shift you've seen in your community's transformations?
Geez, it's a big question. So it kind of depends on which area you're looking at. But, awareness of everything is key. So even if we look at financial and spending, and Vicki's touched on this beautifully at the start as well, like awareness of where our money is going. Like one of the biggest myths that so many women have when I first connect with them is that they don't have enough money to even start investing. There is still a massive investing gap for women. And so this belief that they don't have enough money. And when we said, okay, let's sit down and even look at your finances, look where your money is going. So often they are shocked because they are spending just like, is the norm. They're buying a little bit here, they're buying something here every single day if they're on their way to the work, on their way home. And so these little bits of money add up to be quite significant over the course of a month. Now, I'm never advocating anyone to skip their morning coffee if that's what they love. But bringing awareness to our spending, being more intentional with where our money is going, knowing that if money is a reflection of the value of the service that we provide, then being aware that it's an energy exchange. And so are you sending that energy back out to somewhere that you actually want? So awareness is definitely step one, I would say, for everyone.
Anna, what's one mindset practice from neuroscience or psychiatry that you believe might be underutilized in personal finance?
Yeah, I think this is a manifestation practice, and we've talked about a number of these today. I think a skill set that people have a very difficult time mastering is feeling the emotion of having something prior to your actually having it. And this is something that you can try on for size. And this is what we were talking about. What does wealth feel like? And you can actually, when you say that, what does it feel like emotionally? What kind of thoughts would you think if you were a wealthy person in the way that you want, or if you were to manifest the level of abundance or the category of abundance that you would like to manifest? And then you start to ask, what would it smell like? What would it taste like? What would it feel like on your skin? Evoke your senses. So evoke your thoughts, your emotions, and senses in an effort to really create this now, and not after you have it, but now, as if it's already here. And that way you become a vibrational match for what it is that you are seeking to magnetize.
Great advice. Vicki, how do you stay financially focused in this world that is constantly bombarding us and promoting constant consumerism and distractions?
I actually don't know how to stay financially focused, because I stay focused on my dreams for myself and the world. So that it's almost like wanting something more than you want the specific compensatory spending that is very often is a substitute for having what you really want. We have people track and evaluate the flow of money and stuff in their lives, and ask on a monthly basis about each spending category, not in terms of money, but in terms of hours I invested in order to have this, because the hours are the only currency of my life. It's the only thing I really have from birth to death. So, is this giving me pleasure commensurate with what I invest in? I'm investing my life energy in. And is this taking me in the direction where I want to go? That's the purpose question. And then it's also a question of, if I wasn't living a life that was misaligned with my values, would this spending still happen? So that's the question of compensatory spending, of rewarding yourself because of the deficiencies in your life rather than rewarding yourself from a sense of abundance.
Laura, any closing thought?
On the topic in general, I mean, look, money is something, I suppose, as step one, we need to rewrite the narrative. I love being part of conversations like this with so many incredible people from different and very rich, knowledge-rich backgrounds as well. But I suppose step one, if we come back to awareness and self-empowerment, it's to really tune into what does our own relationship with money look like. Anyone I work with, their step one is always taking themselves on a money date. And that is combining both the practical, like, let's sit down and what's actually happening with your money right now so we can support you, but also the inner. Like, if you had to describe your relationship with money, how would you describe it? Is it intimate? Is it distant? Is it that friend you try and avoid? Like, how would you describe that relationship? And even just being able to name it, we can say, okay, well, now we know our starting point. Now, where do we want to get to? And at least you can see what the journey could look like for you ahead.
Thank you. Well, this has been an incredible conversation. One of my favorite takeaways from today's panel is this: your money mindset isn't just about your bank account. It's about your self-worth, your values, your vision for the life that you want to live. We heard this common thread that I think ran throughout, and that's awareness, and perhaps even daring to strive to do something bigger than oneself. That's one thing that can really keep you on track. And when you shift your inner beliefs, you create the conditions for lasting, sustainable financial success on the outside. Each of our guests shared powerful ways to reframe your fear, embrace abundance, take aligned action. And I hope that you're walking away with not just being inspired, but being ready. So here's your call to action for this week. Take 10 minutes to write your money story. What early experiences shaped how you feel about money today? What beliefs might be holding you back? And what new beliefs do you want to adopt instead? This simple reflection can open the door to clarity and confidence. As always, thank you for spending your time with us. If this episode sparked something for you, share it with a friend or leave a review. It helps others to find these conversations and join the movement toward conscious, empowered wealth. I want to thank our Inspired Money team, Bradley, John Eaglefeather, behind the scenes during the live stream. He edited segments. Chad Lawrence does our graphics, animations, and editing. As we wrap up today's powerful conversation on mindset mastery for financial success, I want to extend a heartfelt thank you to our incredible panelists. Each brought wisdom, generosity, and practical insight to this conversation. Inspired Moneymaker, I hope that you're walking away with a lot to think about and to act on. I encourage everybody to follow our panelists today. You can find Vicki's work at vickirobin.com, her classic book, Your Money or Your Life. You may have read it. Read it again. If you haven't read it, make sure to go read it now. And make sure to also check out her podcast, What Could Possibly Go Right. Vicki, anything else you want to plug?
Well, my current Substack, which is called Coming of Aging, in which I've actually shifted from concepts to story and just storytelling about my own encounter with the fact that I'm growing older and that I'm in the part of my life that I'm going to die. So I hope people will come and enjoy that blog as well.
Well, thank you for sharing your wisdom with us today. Definitely everyone should check out the Substack, get more of Vicki's wisdom, and we're all getting older. So I love how Vicki is embracing that and so willing to share her experiences, thoughts, and insights on that topic. Laura Tynan, founder of The Witch of Wall Street. You can learn more about her programs and thought leadership at lauratynan.com. Laura, anything you want to plug? Project or anything?
Yeah, thanks, Andy. I have two fabulous YouTube channels as well. One is called The Witch of Wall Street, where we talk a lot about finance. The other is called Her Rich Life Mindset. And for anyone who does want to start investing, I do have a newly released book called Made of Money that's available on Amazon.
Congrats on the book. And yes, very good YouTube channels. That's how I found you, Laura.
Yes.
And then I want to send everyone to Dr. Anna Yusim, her website, which I'm trying to get in front of me at the moment, and I can't find it. All right, here we go. You can learn more about Dr. Anna Yusim's coaching and her best-selling book, Fulfilled: How the Science of Spirituality Can Help You Live a Happier, More Meaningful Life. That's at annayusim.com. And unfortunately, Laurel Langmeyer wasn't able to make it. Hopefully I can schedule her for a future episode. Really appreciate all our guests today. That is really the power of this show. Thank you, the viewer, the listener, for joining us on Inspired Money. We have 2 episodes this week. So the next Inspired Money episode will actually be in 2 days. That's on Wednesday, June 4th at 1 p.m. Our topic is retirement income strategies, maximizing returns for peace of mind. We're going to have retirement experts Jamie Hopkins, Dana Anspach, the retirement answer man, Roger Whitney, will be back on the show, as well as Carrie Hannon. It's going to be a great one. Until next time, do something that scares you, because that's where the magic happens. Thanks, everyone.